Hi, this is, I believe, part 5 of The Laughing Muslim. And I think I started off here. I think I did, yeah. Okay, I say, I mean, I know you tried to say Muhammad was not Allah, but face it. Muslims believe Mr. Paba was the one true and last prophet. So present the main reason as to why, okay? I'm not interested about your personal perception of the cross event. I am interested in its biblical validity. Why would you put a guess on such event when you are not even an eyewitness to the cross event? You are talking of personal experience, and such could not be logically verified. But let's focus on historical and theological points here. There is no seams to whatever. There is no seams or whatever. When you put your faith on something, you have to back it up with convincing proofs. So where is your proof on your claim? If I present my claims to faith, will you do the same? It seems that it would take a lot of faith to stop what you're doing, pull out a prayer rug, and stick your patootie up in the air 5 times a day every day to keep from paying the jizya tax. So, when I present mine, will you do the same? That is not verifiable. Let's talk something logical here. Otherwise, you can claim that Jesus healed your cancer, and who am I to debate you with such personal claim? It would just waste our time. And knowing that you said you left the church, I would presume you understand now my point. Well, due to Al-Taqiyya and Muhammad saying war is deceit, it probably would be a waste of time. You'd say you put your patootie up in the air 5 times a day because you love Allah, not because you are being watched by fellow Muslims. And when I told you where I was coming from, you'd think I was a lying demon, being that I don't have my patootie up in the air 5 times a day. So again, it probably would be a waste of time. Typical of Islamophobic people. When they are asked to provide rational proofs, they start launching lies, insults and demonizing of Islam. Pathetic, really. Instead of providing rational arguments, you throw in your own trick. Funny, really, because you mentioned Kaaba and praying 5 times a day. Islam came after the Torah. But gee, have you not noticed that while the Jews pray 3 times a day, Muslims do it 5, and while most of them face Jerusalem, we face Mecca, the place dedicated by Abraham, in the worship of one God. If you have just made even a little comparison, you will say that Islam is the completion of Judaism in Christianity, but you are blinded by your hatred of Islam. That's saddening. Actually, okay, something screws up here because I start talking to some guy, a Christian, and you know something? His name is Snicky, and I think I'll add it in here. I say, I'm talking to him now. I say, actually, the Dead Sea Scrolls support the Bible. And then he says to me, the meaning of the Torah in the Dead Sea Scrolls matches with the meaning of the Torah in... Oh, I say this to Snicky also. The meaning of the Torah in the Dead Sea Scrolls matches with the meaning of the Torah in the Old Testament part of the Bible Jews and Christians have with them. Which means that when the Quran says the Quran is a, quote, confirmation of the Torah, the Quran is a complete and utter lie. Muslims will then say that the Torah must have been corrupted before the creation of the Dead Sea Scrolls. But that can't be the case because the abrogating Quran 2 verse 106 scripture never kicks in. And then Sticky says, true, Muhammad Allah, the Quran, clearly says the scriptures used in his days were okay. He did not say they were corrupted, so talk about Constantine also doesn't factor in. A number of Quranic verses state his message was to be believed as well as the other scriptures. There are lots of copies of the Bible used in his days, but he couldn't read, so he wasn't able to find out that they contained different doctrines than what he heard from the Spirit. And then I say, I'm pretty sure Mr. Papa could read. I think he came upon some scripture in the Bible about someone not being able to read, and then said he couldn't read, so he could try to sucker people into believing it was talking about him. Joseph Smith did something like that with Deuteronomy, it sounds like. And then he says, I've read that view. It's a possibility, but the hadiths make it sound like he had some real experience, perhaps similar to others, even today, who say that angels appear to them. I had an aunt in a nursing home who said an angel came and sat on her shoulder and talked to her. I know another lady on disability or schizophrenia who says angels appear to her often. A number of people claim they see and hear ghosts, spirits, and seances, or have ghosts, poltergeists in their homes. And then I said, if you read what Muhammad went through, it sounds like Jibril was a snake coiled around him. For every time Muhammad told the angel he didn't know how to read, it would squeeze him. Believe it or not, Muhammad first thought Jibril was a demon, and that he was possibly demon-possessed, but because Jibril left the room when Muhammad and his wife were together, getting in a sexual kind of way, he thought it must be an angel and not a devil. Not a good way to test if it was an angel or not, if you ask me. And then this Muslim says to me, tell me, have you read the entire Dead Sea Scroll? Ha ha ha. You say you accept the Dead Sea Scroll matches with the meaning. In short, not in the text, but only in the meaning, which could mean different interpretations for different Bible scholars. Why? Obviously the Dead Sea Scroll is not available in its entirety, even for the Western Bible scholars. This is due to the prohibition of Israeli antiquity. And you want us to believe you had an access to it? Ha ha ha, get real. What does matches and meaning mean to you? Matches and meaning. We should be pointing to textual matches, not meaning. What? He says we should talk about not meaning, but textual matches? Oh well. Well, he goes on and says, matches and meaning. We should be pointing to textual matches, not meaning. Why? Because meaning can be different to different scholars. But if the texts are the same, scholars would not misinterpret the verses wildly because the parameter is set. Example, the word Lord is English. The word Lord in English. It could mean master or deity. So to look for the comparison in meaning in Scripture is a useless task. We have to have matching texts to determine the exact meaning. Otherwise confusion would take over. In other words, throw away all Qurans that aren't written in the original Arabic that is the different, is what different in meaning is. I never said such utter nonsense, yet you interpret it that way. I said Quran in the Arabic Quran. All others not in Arabic are not Quran, but translations of meaning of the Arabic Quran. Why would you throw translations? It can help you understand the Arabic Quran in your own language, but it's not the definite authority. The Arabic Quran is. Well, what's the difference between the Torah in the Old Testament and the Torah in the Dead Sea Scrolls then? What is your complaint about the Torah in the Bible? It seems to be we could use it like a original Arabic for the Quran. Again, again, like your friend Mega, you are claiming that the Dead Sea Scrolls support. So it only supports, but not actually the text. So again, a massive failure. Supporting, tell me. 1. Knowing that the Dead Sea Scroll is not available to the public in its entirety, I am wondering, how did you come up with such a statement? 2. In what way does it support you? Can you give examples? 3. Can this support applied to textual integrity of the present Bible? I am waiting. Okay, then Sneaky says to Ketun, says this. The Dead Sea Scrolls have been on public display for a long time now and examined by many scholars. They are the ones who have said scrolls support, or are almost 100% of the same as the Old Testament. You also need to accept the opinions of those scholars. I know people don't like to admit when they're wrong. I have left churches, family, and home, and friends in my own search for the truth. Eternity is a long time. Don't miss out on what Jesus did and taught. Then, and then he says, oh. Well, then the Muslim says to me, how many verses are deleted, interpolated, and added to the biblical books of today? Too many. If you are an honest Christian, you will not lie about this, since the NIV Bible clearly expunged many verses out of the Bible because, according to the Bible scholars, they were added later. You can check this out by yourself. Go Google expunged verses of the Bible, and you will see what I mean. You quote a verse in the Quran without understanding? That's disgusting. I say, you said it's disgusting to quote a verse in the Quran without understanding it? Well, which verse did I quote that you think I don't understand? If I quoted a verse I don't understand, well, can you tell what that scripture's meaning is, so not only I can understand it, but so all can understand it as well? What Quranic scripture did I quote without understanding? You have a selective and temporary amnesia. Did you not quote 1094 and claim that the scripture that was referred to in that verse is the present-day Bible, and that indirectly inferred that the people who read the scripture are the Jews and Christians? I pointed out to you that the people referred to in the verse are the people who knew the scripture in Hebrew and Greek, not just any Christian Bible thumper like you. And now you are acting as if you did not misinterpret the verse? If Quran 1094 is not directing Muhammad or some Muslim to those who have read the Bible, if Muhammad or some Muslim are in doubt about the Quran, well, what are the before scriptures the Quran is directing them to? Who are those who read the before scriptures? Where does it say you're supposed to read it in original Greek and Hebrew? I think I'll stop it right